Baseplan Presents video features an overview of BMA service. So we'll go through what is within a service, mostly around the job details and the details tab, how we can allocate timesheets, how we can look for parts and add parts to the service job, and then also the summary tab, so how to basically add in customer information and some of the summarized views of the details that we put into the service job. We'll also cover very briefly creating a service job, as well as the daily timesheet, which contains an accumulated visual of all the timesheets that a user may have done across the day. So it can include multiple service jobs timesheets all in one screen, and then also how we issue parts. So we'll move across to that now. You can see here the activity screen, we have a service job ready to go. So I'm just going to go into that. So we just navigated to the activity screen. We can see a service job's already ready to go. So we're just going to utilize that one. I'll click into it. And we can see a breakdown of everything we need to know about the service job. So we can see the equipment here. We can actually click into that and easily view extra details about the equipment. So you can go and look at something productive like a service history if you're a technician. And anything else that might be vital to what's happened. So a rental history rather, and you can see the contracts here, which might help with any investigation as to why something went wrong and all that kind of thing. We can then go back. We can see other details here. So important details relating to the job. So job details, categories, all that kind of thing that have been assigned to it. We can go ahead and add notes very easily. So if I go and add a note, you can see there's a range of different note types that directly correlate with Enterprise. So we can easily go and create a note there. So we'll go and create an internal one as an example. Internal note. Here we go. Hit confirm, and then we'll also create an external one. External note. Nice and easy. Hit confirm. Go back. And we can see that's now appeared nice and easily there. At the bottom, we have outstanding items, which we'll cover in a separate video. And underneath, we can see attachments. So you can go ahead and add attachments, and all attachments will be attached to the service job itself to easily be accessed via Enterprise or BMA later. At the very top, we have a status dropdown. So we can go ahead and hit that. We can then accept the job, and then we can go back up to the top and mark the job as on-site. There is also traveling and rejected, pretty self-explanatory statuses, but obviously traveling just means you're on the way to the job, and then rejected means that you can't do the job for whatever reason. And we've added email notifications to service managers and basically whichever email address you would like to be notified, which will be controlled within Enterprise's settings. Go ahead and hit on-site. Now that we've come on site, now that we've clicked on site, we've now basically said that we're arrived at the job and we're ready to work. And Take 5 is currently configured for this demo. So we could see there's a range of questions relating to safety. So we can go ahead and click all of them. And ultimately, that is not going to let a user pass until they've ticked all the boxes. Basically saying that they're ready to work on the job and they're doing all the correct safety measures. Now, this screen is completely customizable, so you can have as many different questions as you like, and customizing the actual questions themselves. Go ahead and hit confirm. We can see at the top, we can see a few more tabs. We can also adjust the meter reading from this screen, and we'll continue to timesheets. So we'll go to timesheets. You can easily add a timesheet. So we can see the date here, the job code. We can click on the job code and we'll see, in this case, we've got 3 drop-downs appearing to select the correct job code. We do have a two drop-down option, but all configurable in the back end. We'll hit the area one and we can see there's a few bits of a few values that have appeared here. So we'll go ahead and hit brakes because this service job is specifically about brake boosters. And then we'll hit brake booster. And then we can go ahead and pick the activity. So we'll say repair. Awesome. So we can then adjust the start times. Let's say we've been working on this for the last hour. We can go and adjust the time there nice and easily and hit confirm. Awesome. So we can see a work log has appeared. You can add as many as required, ranging across the different job codes depending on what actions you're doing. We can also go to checklists. So within checklists, super configurable, which we can cover in a separate video about how checklists actually work. But in this case, we have a range of very generic checklists that we can see here, and we can go ahead and pass, fail, action needed, or not attended. We can go and mark them accordingly. So currently, just static responses that can obviously be used for reporting and just general getting the service done. Underneath each service point, we can go ahead and hit the 3 dots. And within the 3 dots, we can actually add notes and attachments, or we can take a photo. All these notes and attachments will get linked directly to the checklist point. So from an auditing perspective or reporting perspective, you can see that, we fixed the brake as an example, and we took a photo that the brake was fixed, and you'll be able to see that in the future, just looking at enterprise and also looking at old service jobs, which we'll go through shortly. Cool, so we'll just go and mark these as pass. We could fail a couple. Currently no rules at the moment around these, but there will be in the future, but it'll be configurable. So we can now go to parts, and we can do 2 things here. So we can hit add items and manually search for a part, or we could also scan a barcode. So I've got a barcode here, so I'll just scan my iPhone. Here we go. You should be able to see. There we go. There was a barcode, and then it will take you straight to the relevant part, ready to put in the quantity that you need to use. We can see the availability here is all from the warehouse that the user is linked to. So it will manage inventory as parts are used from here. We'll go ahead and hit add items at the bottom right. And also, if we needed to and we didn't have a barcode ready, we can also do a manual search. So if I search oil, which is a little bit more broad when we're looking for an oil filter, we can see here there's a range of different parts that are available to us. We can see some of them have 0 availability just here. So obviously you wouldn't be able to use that right now. So you'd have to go and get parts issued to your warehouse. Awesome. So we'll just go back. So we've added a part. We can now go to the summary tab, which is ultimately where the customer interaction would happen. So we can see here the external note that we added is there. The internal note that we added is not, because we wouldn't want to display that to the customer. And we can also see there's a parts and work logs panel here too. So we can go, basically show the customer, hey, the work logs, we've spent an hour on this. We can see the parts that were used and just, generally give them a rundown of what's happened. We can go ahead and add the receipting customer, the person that witnessed it. We can also go and add a signature here. So there we go. At the bottom here, we can also email job cards. So we can go ahead and check that box and add an email, or depending on how configuration is done in the back for the relevant contacts linked to this service job, it can be populated automatically, ready to be sent. Awesome. So I'll just go ahead and hit complete. Awesome. So it's prompted me that the hour meter reading hasn't changed. So it's given me the opportunity to go ahead and change that if I forgot. So I'll go and do that. So I'll just scroll to the top and we'll change that to 7. There you go, 1337, and we'll hit complete again. Awesome. So we've now completed a job. And another thing that we can do is by scanning again or doing a manual search, we can also create service jobs. So I can go ahead and hit the search button at the very bottom here, which will open up my camera, and I can scan a QR code. From the QR code, I'm then met with the equipment screen, which we briefly saw before. We can see some general details about any outstanding things with the equipment. So, open service jobs, the one that we just worked on will be there. And we can also do a range of actions at the bottom here. So the one what we're going to do right now is creating a service job. I'll go and we'll just call it example service job. Nice and easy. We can hit the reason, we can fill in all the relevant configured reasons. So I'll just go breakdown. We'll go and do general maintenance, and then I'll go and look for mechanic within this list. and mechanic, and we can go ahead and hit create. And what should happen is very quickly, there we go. We can see the service job has been created based on configuration. It's been assigned straight to me, and ultimately we can go ahead and process that service job. Nice and easy. The last things that we also can do within the service module is if I scroll down on the side menu here, there's a couple of options relating to service. So there's a timesheet, so I can go ahead and hit timesheet. What this does is basically pulls all the data relating to all the timesheets that you've done for that day, so the current day, and puts it all into one easy to read timesheet, so across multiple service jobs, and it also allows you to add work logs here. So this is referred to as lost time in Baseplan Enterprise, and you can basically go and select a service type, and we'll say, well, we spent an hour stocking the van. We can go ahead and do so there, add some notes, and it'll all be updated in Baseplan Enterprise. Go ahead and hit back. We'll open up the side menu again. We also have creating a service job, which is pretty similar to the screen we were just on. Only difference is you can populate an equipment code manually in here, or a serial number manually, and then create the service job from there. So this is really useful for if a user's offline and they don't actually have access to the full list of equipment and can't search properly, just because that's how offline mode works. And they can go ahead and create this here, and then when they come back online, it will try and create the service job. If there's any issues because they misspelled something, they'll be prompted and asked to fix it, and then obviously they'll be able to create the service job again. The last thing is stock issue. So we can go ahead and issue stock. So this is more for stock controllers, not necessarily service, but kind of goes hand in hand. So you can issue stock to an SA code from here, and you can also issue parts straight to a service job. So we could look up a service job, which I will get 4974. And hit search and go and issue stock straight to there. So this is obviously if, as we said before, we needed that part, but it had 0 available. We can go and issue stock from one warehouse to the van, and ultimately giving access to that technician to complete their service job. Awesome. So that is an overview of the service module. Thank you.